are pending before it shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Get a little bit closer to that microphone just so everybody can hear you, okay? Can you state your full name, please?
Mlan Harrison Colbert.
And how do you know the defendant, Miss Suzanne Mericle?
Dr. Mericle is my mother.
I want to talk to you about 4238 Bay Ridge Drive, okay? Do you know the residence that I'm talking about?
I do.
Okay. Did you ever have an opportunity or an occasion to actually live there?
I did.
Okay. And we're going to get into it a little bit later, but approximately how long did you live there?
Roughly like 3 weeks or so. Just 3 or 4 weeks, depending on time.
Okay. And that would have been when?
That would have been moving in on January 2nd, technically, and then moving out sometime in late January. I don't know the specific date I left.
Of what year?
Of 2025, last year.
2025. Okay. So last January.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to show you some pictures. If you'll just look at these, and then when you're done looking at them, let me ask you some questions, okay?
Okay.
Do you recognize what's depicted in those pictures?
Yes, it's the kitchen entrance area, pantry area.
Okay, of
4238 Bay Ridge.
And do these pictures accurately and truly reflect the way the kitchen area and pantry area appeared at 4238 Bay Ridge Drive?
Yes.
Judge, move to tender defendant's exhibit 82, 83, 84.
No objection.
If I could have that.
Admitted.
Hello, please. Can you just describe for the jury what we're looking at here in Defendant's 82?
Sure. So on the right side is the front door to the home, and then as you pan to the left, stairway that goes down to the basement level. Staircase obviously goes up to the top floor. Then you have the fridge to the left of the stairs, and then where the microwave is, there's a pantry area back there with other cabinets.
Okay, so if we're looking like through sort of that archway and you see a microwave,
Right.
okay, that's
That's the pantry.
where's the pointer? This is what you're talking about, pantry area?
Yes.
And in Defendant's 83, what do we see here?
To see more of the kitchen area, the fridge would be more to the right, but then you can just see more clearly the pantry, and then that door and the pantry room leads to the garage, but just more of the kitchen.
So this door leads where?
To the garage.
Okay. And then through this archway, where would we be going into?
Into the pantry.
Judge, can we go computer?
I'm going to play you a portion of a body cam, okay? Just watch it. Will you make sure it's clean? I would just go all the way down, just to be safe. We're going to play from 7:57 of this body cam till about 8:12 of the body cam, so just a 15-second snippet. If you'll pay attention, and then I'm going to have some questions, okay? Okay. And Judge, just for purposes of the record, this is a body cam video from, I think, is it Lieutenant Feraldo? We had previously discussed this with the state, and they didn't have any objection to us putting this body cam into this witness without sort of the normal procedures that we would have done with Lieutenant Feraldo. So again, that was about 7:57 to 8:12 of his body cam. Do you recognize the room depicted in this body cam?
Yes, I do.
And that room
That's
is?
the pantry.
Okay. In that body cam, did you notice any keys laying on top of any of the counters?
I did not pick up on any keys in the video.
Okay. Judge, at this time, we move to tender Defendant's 87, which is Lieutenant Feraldo's body cam video.
No objection, Judge.
Admitted.
I'm going to approach with some more pictures. Again, same process. Take a look. Let me know when you're done. Do these appear to be still shots from that body cam that we just watched?
Sorry?
Do they appear to be still shots or screenshots?
They do,
of the
yes.
body? Judge, at this time, I would move to admit defendants 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, and 81.
No objection, Judge.
Admitted.
And if I could get the Elmo again, Judge? Going to show you and go over with you what's been labeled Defendant's Exhibit 78, okay? On that countertop, in the pantry, do you see any sets of keys anywhere?
I don't think I see any keys in this photo.
And again, in Defendant's Exhibit 80, a slightly different angle, same question. In that pantry, on the countertop, do you see any sets of keys visible?
I don't see any keys in this photo.
want to talk to you a little bit about the neighborhood of 4238 Bay Ridge Drive, okay? Judge, again, at this time, I'd move to admit or tender Defendant's Exhibit 86, which I believe the court's authorized to take judicial notice of. It's a Google map printout just showing travel route from 4238 Bay Ridge Drive to Clarks Bridge Road, which is the nearest main intersection. So we move to admit that.
No objection.
Okay, so I'll accept it into evidence, that's fine. And then, do you need anything else from me?
Not at this moment.
Okay.
Take a look at this. Now, when you were living at 4238 Bay Ridge Drive, what were you doing there?
Well, living there, but working remotely.
What was your daily sort of day-to-day routine?
Get up 6 or so, and then work till about 7, and then just make dinner. And pretty boring.
And then would you stay there Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday, Sunday to Sunday?
Yeah, usually Thursdays I would drive down to Atlanta and see my friends from college that still live in Atlanta.
Okay.
Then come back late Sunday night or something.
Okay. So would drive to and from house to Atlanta, other places, and back and forth, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The map that I showed you, does that fairly and accurately depict the route that you would take to get to the lake house if you were turning off of Clarks Bridge Road?
Yes, it does.
Okay. I do the permission to publish this.
Yes.
This road right here, which road is this?
Clarks Bridge? Clarks Bridge, is that what it says? I'm bad at remembering names of roads, but
Can you see it on there?
Clarks Bridge?
Yep.
Clark something.
Okay. And then do you remember the name of the road that you would turn off of to get to the lake house neighborhood?
Yeah, I guess I'll double check myself, but C. Rogers, I think it is.
And that's sort of this main road right there, right?
Right, it's the main road off of that. It takes you to the lake house.
Does it dead end into the neighborhood of 4238 Bay Ridge?
It does, yes.
So is 4238 Bay Ridge Drive, this little piece of road right here?
Yes, it's near where your pin is, yeah.
Did you ever have opportunity to travel this route at night?
Multiple times, like, yeah, before work or after work.
When it was dark out?
It was dark out, yeah.
Okay. And inside the neighborhood, let me talk to you a little bit about this. Inside the neighborhood, how many houses are there?
I'd say roughly 8 homes, I'm not entirely sure.
Starting from when you turn onto Bay Ridge Drive?
When you turn on, I think there's 1 or 2 houses to the right of the 4238 Bay Ridge.
So up this way?
No, when you turn onto Bay Ridge Drive, there's like 2 homes before 4238 on the right, and then a couple after that.
And then when we get down to 4238 Bay Ridge, is there a house, if you're looking at the house, is there a house to the right?
There's a house to the right.
House across the street?
Yes.
And then are there any houses, if you're facing the house, to the left of the house?
Facing the house, I think there's 2 homes to the left of it, not including the one that's directly across from it.
For the period of time that you were living there, did you ever see anybody occupying the house across the street?
I never saw anybody in that house.
Right. Did you ever see any cars going into that house?
No.
The time that you're living there, which again is January 2025, did you have any interactions with any neighbors?
No interactions, just saw the neighbor that lived to the right maybe less than a handful of times, a couple times.
Okay. And again, were you working from home?
I was working from home, yeah.
So the majority of the time that you're in Hall County, would it be fair to say was spent at 4238 Bay Ridge Drive?
Yes.
Okay. And the only neighbors that you ever saw were from the house to the right if you're facing the house?
Correct.
So never saw any of the people that occupied houses to the left?
I do recall like seeing a couple cars after like a week or two there, and I didn't even know there was a house there, but I never would see them often.
No, and no interactions with them?
No interactions with them, no.
Not even a wave?
I don't think so, no.
Now, prior to coming to court today, did you have the opportunity to review a video?
I did.
Okay. And what did that video depict?
The video depicted just Bay Ridge Drive and C. Rogers Road, or Drive, I'm not sure, but just at nighttime.
At nighttime,
Right,
when it was dark out?
when it was dark out.
Okay. Did that video truly and accurately capture and depict what it would look like to travel from 4238 Bay Ridge Drive all the way up to C. Rogers Road and then on to C. Rogers Road?
Yes, it would show the exact street at nighttime. So
During night when it's dark outside?
right.
And Judge, at this time, we would move to tender Defendant's Exhibit 85, which is the video that we're talking about right now.
No objection.
Admitted.
Permission to publish that.
Yes.
I'll pause for just a moment here, just to talk about. So this portion that we've just seen, which road is this?
Bay Ridge Drive.
Okay. And then Bay Ridge Drive is what, again, leads to C. Rogers, which is the only street out of the neighborhood.
Right.
And at the point that the video ends, is that still C. Rogers Road?
It would still be C. Rogers Road.
Okay.
Yes.
And does C. Rogers Road continue on to look like that until you get to the intersection?
Yes, and leaving it and then go uphill from there. But yeah, same thing.
I want to talk to you about the first time you ever went to 4238 Bay Ridge Drive, okay? Do you remember when that was?
That was Christmas Eve of 2024.
I think we could guess what the purpose was, but could you tell the jury a little bit more about why you went there?
Sure, it was for us all to celebrate Christmas together.
And who is we?
It was myself, my sister, brother, both of their partners, I guess the sister-in-law and sister's boyfriend, and then my mom and David.
Okay. 'Cause you're one of three siblings?
One of three siblings.
Okay. Are you the oldest?
I'm the middle child.
Okay. Who's the oldest?
Mills is the oldest.
Okay. So was Mills's wife there?
Mills's wife was there,
Okay. And then you're the middle child,
the middle child.
and then who's the youngest?
And then Mary Madden is the youngest.
Mary Madden. And her boyfriend was there.
Her boyfriend was there.
Okay. And then your mom
My mom,
and Mr. Barron.
right.
Okay. And this is the first time that you've ever been?
First time I've ever been to
this
that house.
Okay. What, if anything, stood out to you as odd or out of the ordinary during that trip?
So a couple of things stood out that were odd. My mom was kind of in like a more reserved, almost like submissive personality or way of acting, and that's like really different than as I've known her to act. And then I mean, there were several things. And then also night one, so usually Christmas time or really any holiday or when we're all together, we love to play games, board games, and we like everybody to get involved. And David was not able to play really, couldn't really like even speak at a certain point of Christmas Eve because he had drank so much and was like almost falling asleep, it seemed. But it was really early in the night. So that was kind of just like immediately really weird.
Is this the first time that all of your mom's kids, children, you, your brother, and your sister have been together to spend time with her and Mr. Barron?
That was the first time all of us were together.
What else seemed off or out of the ordinary to you?
Yeah, I mean, just overall, how my mom was acting was weird. And
What do you mean by that?
for example, like there was, before we played board games, David, Mr. Barron, he wanted some ice cream. My mom said, sure, I'll get some as well. And it was almost like him like telling her to finish all of it. It was not just like, it was like a lot of ice cream for someone to be served that. And also my mom had like a lot of gastrointestinal issues the past like couple years and probably should not have been doing that. And it was almost like he was, I don't know, telling her to like finish all this ice cream. And that was prior to him becoming like almost nonverbal. That kind of started out the weekend, just a really weird state for me. So.
Okay. And how long did you end up spending at 4238 Bay Ridge Drive this trip?
So I left the day after Christmas on the 26th.
On 26, okay. And then when did you next return?
So I came back on January 2nd. I spent New Year's in Atlanta and then came back to the lake house on the 2nd.
And the purpose for coming back to the lake house on the 2nd was what?
So they had said, you know, I could work remotely there and live in the basement bedroom. And so I said, sure, sounds great. So that was my like move-in date, if you will.
Okay. When you returned to 4238 Bay Ridge Drive on January 2nd of, was it 2025?
2025.
Was anybody there at the lake house?
No, it was just me.
Okay. Do you know where your mom and Mr. Barron were?
I knew they were on St. Simon's for New Year's because they had both told me that. So we had talked about plans and whatnot.
I want to talk to you a little bit about your mom's hearing ability, okay? Can you tell the jury how long your mom has had difficulties with her hearing?
Sure. So as long as I can remember, she's always had trouble hearing. Like we would pick restaurants that were, you know, more, I guess, quieter than others. Otherwise, I knew she would not be able to hear us, or we'd be able to like have a real conversation. And so, yeah, I mean, and then she got her implant in, which I know helps. And she had another hearing aid that she would supplement with the implant, but has had really bad hearing issues for as long as I can recall.
Let me talk to you a little bit. So what efforts would you have to undertake to make sure she could either hear you exactly, certainly, you know, make sure that she was understanding precisely what you were saying?
Sure. So, I mean, even like in the car with her, like, it can't be like a ton of extra music or like loud music because you wouldn't be able to talk to her. And then in restaurants, we walk in, ask for like a table, and there's like loud music, and it's like, we're trying to catch up or actually have a chat. Like, that would not be possible. Or it would just not be a fruitful conversation.
I'm going to show you a couple of documents, and then you let me know if they look familiar to you, okay?
Yes, they do.
Okay. What's depicted in these documents?
These are texts between myself and my mom.
Okay. And are these true and accurate copies of the text message conversation you had with your mom starting on March 7th?
They are.
Judge, at this time, I move that tender admit defendant's exhibit 74.
No objection.
That's collectively 74
Yes, this is all 74.
admitted.
And if I could, thank you, Judge. Who's in the blue? Is that you or your mom?
That's me in the blue.
Okay. So you reach out to her just with a sup madre.
That's me, yes.
And let her know at Cole's B-Day party.
Yep, that's still me. Yep.
And can you see what time it is that you're letting her know that you're at Cole's
It
B-Day
says
party?
8:46 p.m.
And then you get a response from her at what time?
8:48.
And Cole question mark, give Ash.
Yeah, she meant to say 5 ash there, but I knew what she meant, I think.
But does that later get clarified?
That later gets clarified, yes. So, yeah. So there's clarification.
Because she's asking you, at what time is she asking you whose birthday?
That says 10:10 p.m.
And then it looks like she shares with you or sends you some sort of Facebook link.
Yes, but I don't recall what the link was.
And you remember the time that she sent that Facebook link to you?
I do remember getting it. Obviously, it says 11 p.m. there, 11:01 p.m.
11:01 p.m. And then you don't respond to her after the 11:01 p.m. text until the next day,
Right.
March 8th. And you tell her, mother, no, my friend Cole, I went to his wedding in Mexico.
Right.
The ATL Foodies people.
Yeah, the ATL Foods people, but yeah.
And what time was that message at?
7:25 a.m.
When you text your mom, would it be unusual to not get a response for hours on end?
It would be pretty unusual.
Is that why you send a text at 2:46 just with mother question mark on March 8th, 2025?
It is, because that morning I had gone to play pickleball and then came back and hadn't heard from her yet. So I sent that after lunch.
All right, thank you. Those are all my questions.
Hey, McLean, I just have a few questions. I just wanted to put back up some of the defense exhibits. So this is, we'll do defense 78. Let's see if I get this right. Nope. There we go. So this is defense 78. I'm going to zoom out so you can see it a little bit better. So this was the pantry, correct?
Correct.
And there are like drawers here, correct?
There are.
And then, this isn't a great view, but this is defense 79. There's also like cabinets and then some drawers over here, correct?
There are cabinets over there, yeah.
Are you familiar if someone says like, I have a junk drawer in my house?
I'm familiar.
So just kind of like a drawer where you just throw all the stuff you don't really know what to do with and you put it in a drawer?
Sure.
Correct.
Sure.
Do you know what was in any of these drawers?
I can't recall what were in the drawers on the left.
In these?
I can't recall what were in those drawers, no.
How about like the cabinets and stuff over here? Do you know what was in those?
Yes, I do.
What was in those?
There's a Swiffer jet in there,
Okay.
Swiffer jet fluid. There's a lot of cleaning supplies.
And then like defense is 77. You get just like a little bit better. There's like the drawers up here and then there's also like cabinets down there, right?
Right. I think those are just cabinets, yeah.
Yeah. And you have no idea what's in any of those drawers, correct?
I can't recall what's in them.
Okay. Did you know, you mentioned the Christmas party that you were all at. Sorry, microphone, give me 1 sec. You mentioned the Christmas party that you were all at. Were you, I honestly just, I don't know if you mentioned it, so I apologize if you did. Were you already living in the house at that point?
I was not living at the house at that point.
When did you move in?
I moved in on, I guess you could say, January 2nd,
So right after the new year?
right after the new year, yeah.
So you were there for Christmas Eve was when the Christmas party was, and then I think you said you left the day after Christmas and then moved in on the 2nd.
Correct.
Did your mom tell you about the Christmas basket she got from the neighbors next door on the 28th?
I did remember seeing a basket, but I don't remember really much about it.
Did she tell you about how there was a nice note in it that gave them their names and welcome to the neighborhood and their address?
There was a basket, but I never talked to my mom about the basket.
Okay. And I want to show you, when you were living at the lake house, you were unemployed, correct?
I was employed like maybe days before the move-in or days right after the move-in.
Well,
But, yeah.
David was helping you find a job, was he not?
I would not say he was helping me find a job, no.
No?
That's not accurate.
I'm going to show you what's been marked. What are we at, Naz?
I believe we're at 270.
I'll double this. Are you sure? Are you sure? 270?
I believe we're
Okay.
Oh, wait. That's 270, 275, I believe 276.
I'm going to show you states 276. Do you recognize this text exchange?
I do recognize this exchange.
Is this a text exchange between you and your mom?
Yes.
Judge, I move to tender states 276 into evidence.
No objection.
Admitted.
Judge, if I could have the screen again. So this was sent on in December of 2024. You said, is this you saying, thank you, Mother?
That's me.
You said, thank you, Mother. Geez, wowzers, I love you. I will keep you updated with what happens with the job. Love you, right?
Still me, yes.
And then she says, spend wisely. I want you to relax. You are wonderful, smart, handsome, the best and kindest human being I know. David thinks so highly of you. He is always available to talk, correct?
This is correct, yeah.
And then you said, I am, Mother. I love you. Thankful you have David in your life, correct?
Correct.
Can you think of anything else? I think I don't have any other questions.
No further questions.
Thank you for your testimony. You remain in the gallery. Thank you. You're excused.
Mary Madden Bishop.